Hello again and welcome back to today's topic. Today we are going to see all about modals. Modal auxiliary verbs. What are they? How to use them? When to use them? So let's dive into this chapter. What are modal auxiliary verbs? Modal auxiliary verbs are just sometimes we just call them modals. They are a special category of auxiliary verbs. Okay, auxiliary verbs are, they also mean helping verbs. So auxiliary verbs in English that modify the meaning of the main verb. Now let's understand this sentence. इसको समझने की कोशिश करते हैं कि modal auxiliaries क्या होते हैं. Modal auxiliaries को हम modals भी बोलते हैं. ये verbs का ही एक हिस्सा है, एक तरह के verbs ही है. इनको हम auxiliary verbs की कैटेगरी में या तो helping verbs जो बोल माने जाते हैं उसके अंडर में ही आते हैं. और इनका क्या काम होता है? इनका काम होता है कि सेंटेंस के अंदर जो भी मेन वर्ब, मेन वर्ब्स कौन से होते हैं? जो एक्शन वर्ब्स दिखाते हैं, वो एक्शन वर्ब्स को ये हेल्प करते हैं या उसके मीनिंग को क्लैरिफाई करते हैं. Now these verbs, modal auxiliary verbs, what do they do in the sentence? They express ideas related to ability, possibility, necessity, permission, obligation, intention और requests. So ability, okay? कोई काम करने की आपके अंदर काबिलियत है, क्या आप उसको कर सकते हो? पॉसिबिलिटी, क्या ये करना पॉसिबल है, हो सकता है? नेसेसिटी, करना जरूरी है? परमिशन, किसी से परमिशन मांगना, क्या हम ये कर सकते हैं? ऑब्लिगेशन, कोई चीजें जिसे ना हम हिंदी में कहते हैं धर्म है हमारा या कर्तव्य है, इसको करना ही है. ओके. इंटेंशन, या करने का हमारा कोई मकसद है या हम चाहते हैं कि हम ये करें, वी वांट टू डू इट. इंटेंशन मींस वी वांट टू डू समथिंग. Requests. So these verbs, they are verbs only. They would show in a sentence this kind of a special ideas when you want to express that I want to be able to do something, or is it possible, or is it necessary. That time we use modal auxiliary verbs. Okay, so modal auxiliary verbs. Okay, it's a good chapter in English, and many students will have that in the term exams, coming up exams. So you want to know what are the modal auxiliary verbs. It's not just about knowing when to use modal auxiliary verbs. Modal auxiliary verbs, why should you study them apart from your exam purpose or grammar purpose? The more you use modal auxiliary verbs, जितना आप ज़्यादा use करते हो, इनको जितना समझते हो और जितना अपने sentence में use करते हो, the more you understand and include them in your everyday spoken English, the better your spoken English becomes. Okay, it sounds like that, like you know a language, you know how to express your possibilities or abilities. These words are very simple to use actually. You don't even need to learn their spellings or something, just how to use them, when to use them. But they add to the beauty of your language. When you speak this, when you speak English using modal auxiliary verbs, it seems like you're a native speaker. You know what you are talking about. It adds to the beauty of your language. So don't learn this only for your upcoming exams, or it might help as a grammar topic, but try to include them in your daily usage of your English language. Okay, that being said, let's see how many modal auxiliary verbs are there. They are just 9. Can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, and must. So are there any others? Yes, there are, but let's go through this again. Can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, and must. There are some other verbs which we also use. They are not so often used. You don't see them too many times in your language, spoken language or written language. We call them semi-modal verbs. Ought to, मतलब it actually means should also. You should मतलब 100%. ये तो धर्म है यार भाई तुम्हारा, ये तो कर्तव्य है, ये तो तुम्हें करना ही है. Dare, do you dare to do this? करने की हिम्मत है. Need to, necessity, क्या ये करना जरूरी है? Need I do this? Have to is again something that shows a kind of compulsion कि नहीं ये करना ही है. Used to is past tense. I used to go for long drives. Okay, I used to, not now. So these also are modal auxiliary verbs only, but they are not included in the main 9 models. So let's go back and learn these again. Can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, and must. What are the functions of modal auxiliary verbs? Functions, क्या काम होता है इसका? When you use them in a sentence, what are they actually doing? Okay, so the first thing that they are doing is they are showing you an ability of doing something. Expresses someone's capacity. Capacity है आपकी काबिलियत है. You are able to do something. Okay, can, could. Very very simple and often given example is, can I drink water, ma'am? No, in the classroom you often ask that, or can I come in? And yes, you can. You are able, yeah. You are just, no, you may be 12 years, 11 years, you have grown up children. You know how to open a water bottle and you know how to drink water. You can. You're not a toddler. But should you? Okay. So can is an ability. In informal, we will go in depth about each and every word of how and when to use that. But immediately, the first thing that comes to mind when you say can is ability. And of course, there are a little more uses. It can is used as a question. It is used sometimes to ask permission. Also, it's not that we can never ask permission using can. You can. Okay, you're able to, but there are different ways in which you can use this. And could is a past tense of I could do something. पहले मैं कर सकता था. I could ride for 10 kilometers, I could ride cycle for 10 kilometers when I was young. Now I cannot. I could lift 10 kgs of weight. Now I cannot. Could. Let's go to the next one. The second one is possibility. Okay, it's something कुछ होने की संभावना है. Probability. It might happen. Describes the likelihood of an event. Likelihood means हो सकता है. It can happen. It might happen. Not necessary that it should happen. It may. Okay, the train may come late. Might. It might rain today. It can or it could rain. It could happen. Okay, so these words will show possibilities. So functions right now what we are seeing is not each and every word where how to use, but a general idea of how the modal auxiliaries are used to do what. Ability, possibility. Third, we use them when we intend to ask a permission from someone. किसी से कोई permission मांगनी है हमें, तो हम modal auxiliaries को use करते हैं. May, can. This may words can instead of may you often use can, but may is used in informal. These things you should be using the word may. Again, we will go into depth of each and every word, but right now let's see the functions. Ability, possibility, permission. Obligation. It's a duty. You are supposed to do it. You must work hard. You must do this kind of obligation, or you should go and attend their function. You should do this. You should wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You have heard this kind of sentences where you are given some things like there's no option. It's something that you must be doing. Okay, describes a requirement or necessity. Must, should, ought to, this kind of modal auxiliaries. These words we will be using for showing obligation in a sentence. So this was the fourth function. Requests. Politely ask for help or makes offer. So sometimes when we want to request something, uh, can I have your pen please? May I ask this question? Would you like to take some coffee? So that kind of words. Again, we want to request something. When we want to ask questions with politeness, we often use this word: will, would, can, could. And when you use these, we may not need to use a lot of words like please, kindly. These words in itself, in themselves, they show that you are requesting, and they are very polite words, so you can use it. So let's go through this again. Modal auxiliaries, what are their functions in a sentence? वो क्या काम करते हैं, क्या दिखाते हैं? Ability, जब आप उसको use करते हो तो you can use this kind of words. जैसे मैंने अपने sentence में बहुत बार can use किया है. Can shows ability. आप कुछ कर सकते हो. I can lift this weight. मैं ये उठा सकता हूँ. Okay. I can do 100 sit-ups. Okay, ability. Possibility. ये होने की संभावना है. I can do it. Probably this might happen. Not necessary that it will come. Okay. We might have exams at the end of this month. Might. We जरूरी नहीं कि होगा. Maybe you think that it might be. Permission. You can ask for permission or request in formal and informal ways. Obligations. The things that you must 100% do, and requests. Now modal auxiliaries, we have some rules, very simple ones. They are not very in-depth rules like the tenses and the what was our previous one, direct, indirect. The simple rules. Form does not change. So whenever we talk about verbs, verbs always change their form. That is the thing about verbs. They always change their form. Sometimes s lag jata hai, sometimes ed lag jata hai, sometimes es lag jata hai. Verbs keep changing. I'm so sorry, my pen is. I should erase it. Sorry. Okay, so these verbs, they do not change their form. If it is can, then we will use can. We will not add canned, ed, cans. Okay, not it's not going to happen. They will not change their form even if the subject is changing. It is like it's not like the subject verb agreement. When you write he, then you write a different verb. Verb will have an s. If I write I as the subject, then the verb will not have an S, something like that. They don't change form. No ED, no ES, no S. Just use them as they are. So easy, right? Good. Position of the word. They always come before the main verb unless in a question. Okay. So if not a question, if it is not a question, तो modal auxiliary कहाँ लगाना है? Main verb के सामने लगाना है. Simple. Okay. What is a main verb? Action words. So in your sentence, when you're writing an action word, right in front of that, just before that, you need to write your modal auxiliary verb. So sentence formation also will be easier with this. Infinitive form. Okay. Now when you use modal auxiliary verbs, the main verb, whatever is the main verb in the sentence, will not use the again changed form. I'll give you some examples of this. Let's understand this with using some examples. They do not change form. For example, if it is, there is no modal auxiliary verb in the first sentence, he goes for a walk daily. Here we don't have a modal auxiliary verb. So with he, we have written this form of go, it has become goes. We have added es. That's the subject verb agreement rule. Here, when we use a modal auxiliary verb, he must go for a walk daily. You see, now must here is a modal auxiliary model, and we have a word here go. The go also does not change form, and neither in the must you should add anything. So both are the main verb as well as the model will not change the form, original form. Rule number 2, they come before the main verb unless in a question. We'll see how the questions are made. We can swim in this lake. Now what is the main verb here? Swim. And where is our modal auxiliary? Right in before the main verb. So main verb is the swim. In front of that we have to write our modal auxiliary verb, whatever you are using as per your requirement of the sentence. Sentence में क्या दिखा रहा है? Ability है, possibility है, obligation है. According to that you will use the model. And where to use? Put it in front of the main verb. Here in the question it is coming in the starting of the sentence. Can we swim in this lake? Now between this we have a subject here and then we have a verb. So question, in the question format, it came in the before the sentence, starting of the sentence, followed by the subject, followed by the verb. Okay. So but when it is a normal sentence without any question, then you have to write this in front of the, after the subject and before the verb. The infinitive form of the verb is used. That means what? You may sit in this chair. I could run for 10 kilometers. See, these are the base forms of the verbs. Sit, uh, V1, V2, V3, V4. You remember that. So this is the V1 form. Okay. The base form, the V1 form, where no changes. There is no past tense, which we use in the simple present tense. No past tense, no ED, no ES, no ing form. Okay. No forms, nothing. You just use the simple verb. I may eat my lunch little late. Okay. We should work hard for this project. So you do not use any other form of verb, but you use the base form, the infinitive form, or simple language, you use the V1 form of verb. Okay, and in front of the verb, we need to add our modal auxiliary verb, which again will not change form. So when you use a modal auxiliary verb, neither your main verb nor your modal auxiliary will change the form. Just use it as it is. Okay, for this video, I'm finishing it here just with the functions and the rules and how many models are there. In the upcoming one, we will go from each and every modal auxiliary verb. We'll pick up can and then we'll see the uses of can, could, how could is used. So all the 9 plus the semi-modals will be there in the upcoming video, and also I will be giving you some sentence patterns in PDF format. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.